Hi, hello, and welcome back to the Strawberin0 channel. You have to excuse the drip. I'm a little bit sick at the moment. I don't know if it can be heard from my voice. But yeah, I look a little bit cooked, so I decided to cover up the damage with the weeaboo drip, which might be worse, to be honest. I'm looking at the camera, I look like the goddamn invader from the Mandela catalog, or the intruder from Mandela catalog, if he was a dirty weeaboo. God. But yeah, today I'm reacting to Caves of Quod review by SsethTzeentach. This is a very popular video of his. It was also highly recommended to me. Shoutouts to Big Gator. I was supposed to react to it sooner, to be honest, but it's a little bit on the longer side, so I kept it for later. And here it is, Caves of Quod review by SsethTzeentach.
Hey people, Seth here. Have you ever dug too deep and found something they don't want you to know? Sandy Loam, who is she and why can't I reach her? Have you ever fallen out with someone and restored your friendship using quantum entanglement to retroactively rewrite history and save them from a car crash that never actually happened? Have you ever wanted to skip a lifetime of formal education just by cooking a banana? And finally, have you ever had a fungal infection on your arm that, despite your best efforts, won't go away?
Respect for Devil May Cry.
Cut it off. Then stab a syringe filled with anabolic growth hormones right into your chest and grow a new one. As you well know, mushrooms are a great source of protein. I just hope
it's gonna be one of those games, I guess.
Protein. Everything said could be described as the raving of a paranoid schizophrenic, but it isn't. It's an everyday occurrence in the Caves of Quod, which I'm not sure how to say, so we'll just use the
this game I
instead.
never heard about.
Is like the negligent supervisor to a kindergarten daycare. When the kids ask him if they can collectively mutilate themselves in the sandbox, he doesn't say, "No, don't do that." He says, "Give it a try. See what happens." Caves of Quod is an open-ended sandbox roguelike which is still in development. Despite this, it's entirely playable and extremely fun. Fun, which I define as I spent half a day with my screen looking like this, and I had to kill a man with his tattoo gun so I could drink the ink, pull the cord on a flashbang, and explode it into my open eyes. Why? Because in this game, that's how you cure monochromia. If pain and suffering are the extra edge to your enjoyment, you're gonna have a great time. If you're asking yourself right now, Seth, what the fuck am I looking at?
I am asking that.
Your cup of tea. I don't drink tea because they tampered my water supply, and ever since I started drinking from a public tap, I've been getting more and more of these androgynous body pillows. Let's be real here. Caves of Quod, Caves of Quod, cock, is not the prettiest of games. This is probably the...
You know, when he shown Dwarf Fortress, at least there were some different tile sets or tile styles, I don't know what the fuck they were called. You could make the game look kinda normal, kinda okay, but this ain't it, Chief. I don't like when my games look like that.
Only game you could get caught playing in the office and have your boss look at the screen and think, damn, my man's Excel spreadsheet looks fucked up.
Exactly.
Even though there are some nice visuals here and there, you're gonna have to use imagination. And if you can't, take my word for it that this random collection of pixels is actually a small farming community.
Yes, I see.
Quod? I don't know. There used to be an advanced transhumanist civilization living on Quod, but they're not around anymore. Instead, we got mutated everything, from humans to trees, from pigs to chimpanzees. Everything thinks, feels, and the plants talk behind your back. Welcome to Quod. It's a complete madhouse, but hey, it's very colorful. To play this stupid game, you need to make a character, for which you've got
I don't
two
even
options,
fucking know what to say at this point.
What's the difference? Mutants are genetic freaks, and they randomly mutate their genome as they level up, which includes, but not limited to, multiple heads, multiple feet, multiple hands, 2 hearts, paralyzing stingers, regrowing limbs, the ability to fly, the ability to
sounds pretty good to me.
Aneurysm, spontaneous combustion, teleportation, phasing through solid objects, and even infinite nutrition.
How are these sprites generated?
Chlorophyll. So
What
What's
the
the
fuck?
downside? You're a horrific abomination, and if you encounter a certain holy inquisition of turbo-augmented race purists, they'll kill you on sight. Conversely, true to the name, Truekin are humans that haven't mutated. They don't get mutations, they get cybernetic augmentations. These don't come cheap. You first need to obtain an implant, whether by chance or by cutting the electronics out of a dead Templar. Then, you need to find an autonomous upgrade terminal, which, upon detecting that you are indeed a pure-blooded human, refers to you as aristocrat, and allows you to install as many implants as you want, provided your body has space.
So, what you're telling me, they are super racist against mutants, those Templars, but they are not human also because they transcended humanity, right? They're transhumans. They have cybernetic implants like in fucking Cyberpunk or Deus Ex. So they are not indeed true humans. That's so weird that they are racist against mutants. That's dumb.
You did not forget to upgrade your cybernetic software license, because even if a world is over, we cannot forget the importance of arbitrary bureaucratic administration. And by God, you're going to follow strict HR protocol to get your transhumanist upgrades. Every registered
like I said,
in your body runs a license cost. The total cannot exceed the license, which you have to upgrade using cybernetic credits. These are exceptionally rare, and there's no easy way of finding them. And rightly so, because cybernetics are absolutely ridiculous. Tired of your tiny, feminine hands? Giant hands. Afraid of dying? Onboard, intravenous, AI-controlled injectors designed to pump you full of life-saving chemicals depending on the situation instantaneously. Do you want to fabricate
love me that
narcotics in the middle of
auto-stim pack.
combat? We can install fingers on top of your fingers.
Love me that Ghost on the in the Shell animation.
However,
Such a fucking
amputating
good
your legs
movie.
to
Holy
replace them
fuck.
with a set of motorized tank treads is, unfortunately, an irreversible process. Personally, I recommend you play a mutant when starting out. There's not really any bad choices in character creation, but realistically, don't get too attached to your first dozen. Once you're more confident, you can play Truekin instead, and abuse the system so hard, you'll forget the original purpose of this game. Attributes are simple, combat is even simpler, which is convenient because fighting is the main way to level up. You're going to be doing a lot of fighting, and death is an ever-present reality.
I don't know where he is
lower
at the
levels.
screen. I don't know who the enemies are.
Most of you will
Literally,
reach
I
level
don't
for
know
one of
what's
the early
happening.
quests and get stoned to death by a pack of bloodthirsty baboons. My advice, get a gun. There's a lot of dangers out there, but bullets don't discriminate. They only penetrate. This game is all about
Bro,
and
RuneScape
there's no
looks
telling
like
what you're
a
going to encounter, because nearly everything
masterpiece
is
with
randomly
a great
generated and
art
unique to
direction
your save
compared
file.
to
The settlements,
this.
the cultures, the lore, the layouts of
Even
dungeons
like
and dwellings
Tibia
across the world,
or
and
the
even
uglier
pharmacological treatment for
MMOs
different types of disease are built
are
completely
more
out of R&D.
clearly
Amazingly,
presented.
it actually works most of the time. The only things that stay the same are the location of unique settlements, the topography of the map, and of course, the main quest line. Caves of Qud is quite unique in this regard, since most roguelikes don't have an overarching story. It's currently unfinished, so consider it entirely optional if you're looking to follow an objective and possibly, probably, most likely, die in a process. If it makes you feel any better, most players get to Golgotha, and then they quit. In my case, I got to Golgotha, came back, and then I realized that wasn't the hard part. What did he mean by this? I'm not going to tell you. You're going to have to experience that for yourself. I'm not joking when I say this game has one of the steepest difficulty curves, and one fatal mistake could end your entire playthrough. Or, you know, just hit Alt F4 and never tell anyone. Let me tell you about mechanics. Firstly, overlay UI. Turn it on. I have no idea why it's not the default, but it's virtually unplayable without it. There's a lot of interesting monster designs in this game. Interesting in their design to creatively reduce your life expectancy. Most common cause of death, a brick wall, because for some reason, mimics are level 25 and still generate where they shouldn't. That's good programming. Just like choosing Unity to be the basis of your sandbox roguelike. How about Rusty Sawblade that dismembers on every hit? I hope you have an extra head, because otherwise, it's game over. On the bright side, equipping your severed face as a homemade facial accessory is both fashionable and attractive. Do you like bananas? How about being peeled like a banana? Because for about half the banana trees in this game, the fruit comes to them. This may surprise newer players, as pressing Auto Explore in the Banana Grove is a guaranteed single-click shortcut to being disemboweled. Have you ever wondered about the struggle of living with dyslexia? If so,
What the fuck
encounter
is
our psychic master and
happening?
his slaves,
Is
and
he
you
kidding?
won't have to
Or
wonder
is
anymore.
this?
And why not say, fuck it, let's add a giant magnet to the game, because stripping you of your dignity is no longer enough. We're going to forcibly strip you of your items as well.
What?
Considering most people have auto pickup turned on by default, watch as your character is forced into an infinite dance of losing items, picking them up, only to lose them again until you starve to death or smash escape fast enough.
That's
to turn
so
it off.
fucking
You know, the
dumb.
Great Pyramids of
I
Egypt?
love it.
Imagine they could fly. Now, imagine you fused it with a Sherman T-34 Calliope and expanded the rocket tubes to 100. Not too bad when you consider a rocket salvo is only 10, unless they get you up against a wall, in which case you get slammed repeatedly until they empty the entire rack. And then they fabricate and replace each and every high-explosive missile in a single turn. At this point, why not give it an automatic force field and the ability to randomly teleport across the map? Everything described as an enemy inside Caves of Quud. Is
That
it
sounds
a
like a
unique, optional
fucking
boss fight?
nightmare.
No, it is a common occurrence in the Deathlands, known only as a chrome pyramid. And if you see your screen vibrating and glitching, it's a good time to leave. If that sounds overwhelming, let me assure you that's not the case, because every creature in this game, from birds to trees, plants to ants, baboons to raccoons, everything belongs to a specific
banana
faction,
trees that
and
attack
their
you
relation
got
to
me
you is
fucked
dependent
up.
on your reputation with a group. If you're hated, even the peaceful ones will try to rip you apart. If you're loved, even the most aggressive members will protect you as one of their own. This applies to others as well.
Chimps eat the fuck out of monkeys.
And the relation between factions controls their behavior. Let's say you wear a beaded bracelet. This tricks baboons into thinking you're one of their own. That doesn't mean they're not aggressive. That just means they're not aggressive to you.
They hunt monkeys. They corral them in. It's the most ruthless shit, because there's a video of this chimp eating a monkey while it's alive.
No.
It's holding on to the monkey and biting its hips and just pulling chunks of meat while the monkey's screaming like, ah!
So, how does it influence reputation?
I love when
Reputation
Seth Rogen
isn't
talks
affected
about
by
monkeys
helping or
and
killing
gorillas
normal
and chimps.
people. Only
He
celebrities.
fucking hates
Much
them.
like
He
real
hates
life,
them
if you
so
kill
much.
a lot of short people, they won't rise up against you. But if you kill a famous Minecraft YouTuber the size of a small child, they'll start to notice. Every faction randomly generates legendary characters, and interacting, bonding, or straight up murdering them will influence your reputation, depending on that character's personal history. For example, this is a legendary baboon queen. She is naturally loved by her people. However, she accidentally dug up some robot's dead grandfather, probably a TI-84 calculator. She also sold confidential banking details from one village and stole some shit from another. Quite understandably, these factions don't like her, and smacking her dead with a heavy branch would probably make a lot of people, excluding those that use shit as a projectile, incredibly happy. Now, the most precious resource in Quud is water. There's not much of it around, so the act of sharing your water is one of the most culturally significant actions you can take. Your thirst is mine, my water is yours. Performing a water ritual will bond you together
that's
and
pretty
strengthen
cool.
relations. The factions that like them will like you even more, but the factions that don't will dislike you by association. However, sharing water with another, only later to betray your brother, is the worst crime you can possibly commit, and even the enemy of thy enemy will regard you, the kinslayer, with open hatred, as will every faction in the game. Of course, you can always use a Schrodinger's page. Remember, it's not considered historical revision when you're doing it with quantum entanglement. As briefly mentioned, water is the most valuable commodity.
What the
That's why
fuck
we
is
don't have
happening with
currency.
this game?
Water is currency. We don't go by greenback or gold. We go by water, and we trade it by the dram. 1 dram of water is approximately 1/8 of a fluid ounce, or about 3.6 ml. It is the smallest unit of trade, and a water skin
I mean, that
contains
makes
64
sense in
grams of
like a
fluid, 8
post-apocalyptic,
fluid ounces, or about
totally fucked up world.
230 ml. In Caves of Quud, we drink our currency. In this world, poverty isn't begging on the streets. Poverty is dying of thirst, and so you need water to live or trade, meaning your currency is actually damn heavy, and there's only so many water skins you can carry around. It's an interesting system, effectively essentially forcing you to trade valuables for other valuables and measure out water to even out the difference. But to even earn your water, you're going to have to go into the great unknown, explore, plunder, and pillage your way across the world, and hopefully you can come back alive. It's going to be dangerous, but when the alternative is certain death, I think I'll take my options. Survival is not easy.
That's
but
such
the
an
game offers you a
interesting
diverse
system.
variety of skills to help you stay alive. Each time you level up, you get skill points, which can be freely distributed to suit your character. Finding combinations that work is a matter of experimentation. For example, I once made a mutant with 6 arms, with an axe in each hand. Axes specialize in dismemberment, and dual welding specializes in attacking simultaneously with each arm. Each turn, my abomination took off up to 6 limbs, including the head. And believe me,
Jesus
everything
Christ.
eventually runs out of limbs. On top of
That's
you'll
so
run
funny.
into items you don't understand. These will be described as an artifact and require successful identification to properly use. For example, if your character is a complete dumbass, he has no concept of a folding chair. Instead, he'll see it as a collection of strange tubes. Also, don't do this with stuff you don't own, because in the
That's
process
cool.
of delicately smashing it to pieces, you might unintentionally break it. And the excuse of, sorry, I was just identifying, doesn't work when you're being violently murdered by a pack of villagers. Artifacts are amazing and offer you great flexibility, often augmenting or replacing abilities you don't have with their mechanized technological equivalent. These include, but are not limited to, instant teleportation to any XYZ coordinate, biodynamic fuel cells powered by blood, handheld nuclear grenades, or even a pair of rocket skates designed for their intended purpose to burn down every forest in the game. Not only can you use them, but with a tinkering skill, you can also craft them. And provided you've got the appropriate blueprints, you can not only craft them, but also modify them to your heart's content. And for the longest time, that seemed like the limits of this game, until I went further beyond and discovered cooking. Imagine living in a world
Excuse
where
me?
the difference between life and death is decided almost entirely by what you had for breakfast that day, because that's what cooking is to caves of Quud. When everything
Oh,
is
so it's
mutated,
like a
even
buff,
consuming
right?
the mutant will give you their properties, and adding more mutants to the dish will increase the possibilities of your ridiculous combination. For example, I can engineer a chance to heal to full health on any tick of damage. Then I pour acid on my feet and become immortal. Or I can use a mental mutation to spawn a huge number of plants that explode when you step on them, eat a gecko that gives me complete immunity to fire, and intentionally cause a chain reaction that turns the entire map into lava while leaving myself untouched. Or I could ask a gigantic sewer slug for his favorite soup recipe, drink it, and turn myself permanently into a gigantic sewer slug that stores, pressurizes, and spits entire rivers of acid. With all that knowledge, the only thing left is to go deeper. Many people go into caves and they don't come back. Usually they have stupid names like Nutty Putty Cave. A man actually died there. There's a mother out
Okay, man. Okay. Nutty Patty Cave, despite its name, was a tragedy. To be honest, it happened to a caver, and I don't understand caving. Like the footage from Deep Exploration where they don't even have room to move their hands and they just crawl like a worm forward, and they don't even know what's inside the fucking cave. That freaks me the fuck out. But a person died. Let's have some respect.
there that had to explain to her kids, yeah, your father unfortunately passed away in a Nutty Putty Cave.
Come
Do you want
on,
that to
you're
be? But
doing
I
him
digress,
so
because everything
dirty.
I've told you up until now has been the surface of Quud. What does that mean? It means I've played long enough to see the game for what it really is. A series of challenges that appear impossible until you realize every problem has a solution. And once the puzzle pieces click together, you'll reach that epiphany that the entire system is, by design, designed to be subverted. The sandbox wants you to break it. It wants you to achieve your goal in the most creative way possible. Let me tell you about the real caves of Quud. For a start, we need a lot of money. We don't have time to earn it, so we're going to print it. Welcome to the lava economy, because lava is extremely valuable. 1 dram equals 16 drams of water. Okay, great. However, we can only store it safely inside a 1 dram glass vial. A water skin holds 64, but starts burning the moment you put it in. Previously, extinguish the fire caused by the lava by pouring water on it and leaving the water skin perfectly intact for me to sell. The developers patched this out and reduced the value of lava twice, but that didn't stop me. Instead, I streamlined the process. Normally, fungal colonies produce lava, which is a good source of early money and parasitic infections, but their capacity is limited. We need industrial quantities. You need to find and identify a thermal grenade and a freeze grenade. Any generation works, but a Mark III is preferable. Next, we need bananas, either 6-day stilt or banana grove. Preserve it into sun-dried bananas, cook it, gain psychometry. Use psychometry to read the early history of every artifact in your inventory without paying for a data disk ever again. Get tinkering to level 1 so you can disassemble scrap and craft grenades. Go to the desert canyon, locate a nice pocket of shale
Where is
rock.
this
Quick
going?
trivia, what's the melting point of shale rock? About 1,000 degrees. Chuck thermal grenades in quick succession until it melts. Congratulations, we've just made lava. Fill as many water skins as you can hold and throw them far away. Now refrigerate them. Congratulations, you have now freeze-dried your lava. Head back to town and buy whatever you want.
What? That doesn't make any sense.
Don't worry about money anymore. Next, we need to metagame harder. Liquids are important to this game. Liquids are vital. Liquids also mix together and get tainted in the process. Would you like it if a woman stepped in your bowl of cereal?
Excuse
Don't
me?
answer that. At the 6-day stilt, there's a merchant of interest. He sells liquids, sometimes exceptionally rare liquids. He's going to
Listen, I know what I'm wearing, but even I have my limits of degeneracy. Degeneracy. Fuck it. I will just edit this part out to not make myself seem as fucking dumb.
be the catalyst to our success.
But there's a limit, okay?
He's only one man. We need more.
And Seths like to tangle around this limit, sometimes crossing it.
Clone of a clone of an acre merchant. You get the idea. We're going to buy his cloning solution, pour it on his body, and watch him multiply. And then we're going to buy cloning solution from his clones to multiply them as well. Why? So we can buy more cloning solution to duplicate any merchant we desire. It takes some time, but first you have to plant your crops before you can enjoy the harvest. Now we're going to buy our way to immortality. How? By purchasing every file of neutron flux. And then you're going to cook some gravity. Neutron flux gives you a permanent +1 to your armor value, with a 1 in 4 chance of gravitational collapse. Seth, I don't like those odds. Neither do I. Take a Sphinx salt injector, stab it into your arm, start cooking. If your body collapses under the weight of a neutron star, go back. Because that never really happened. Because precognition is a vision of the future, not the present. And if you don't like that theoretical timeline, you go back to a divergent point in time when you first injected that cocktail. Walk
What?
around, live life and try
What
again.
are you
When the
even
deterministic
talking
dice roll
about,
of
man?
RNG will give you the outcome you desire. Yes, this game has save scumming built into the mechanics. Reach
That's
immortality.
fucking
Keep eating
great.
bananas. The potassium is good for you and good for your newfound ability to craft nearly every item in the game. Next, the one and only reason
Why
I
do
play Cookin'
cooked
is to
bananas give you
capitalize
such a
Templars.
great
These
fucking
Templars carry a very special
skill?
cocktail. Unfortunately, they're extremely trigger happy and they have a tendency to inject it upon any sign of conflict. As a Truekin, I simply walk up to them and buy it for a pathetic sum of money. What is it? It's an injector filled with ether nectar. Injecting it gives you a permanent +1 to a random attribute, but that's not good enough. We're going to preserve it and condense the nectar, and then we're going to use precognition and cook it, which gives us a 1 in 4 chance of getting +1 in all of our attributes permanently. However, these are quite rare and I can't know if I'll ever find another. So first, I find a high-level merchant, clone them repeatedly, and buy metamorphic polygel. This is cloning solution for items. So now I can theoretically scale my character to an infinite amount of armor, infinite
Jesus.
amount of attributes, and once I clone all the bookstores, an infinite amount of Schrodinger's pages that I can use to gain an infinite amount of reputation. And still, I get one shot shot by a fucking rusty saw. Remember the pyramid I talked
No
about
way.
previously? Nobody actually knew how to deal with these until one insane madman EMP'd the force field, charged the chrome pyramid, and with a small flick of a blade, disarmed it. Yes, he ripped off the entire swarm rack. That same swarm rack can
What?
be picked up and used. However, the average player can only hold a weight of about 300. This thing weighs 1,500, so we modify it, reducing its total weight down to 0. But at this point, weight doesn't really matter. With the exact same method, I disarmed every other robot in the Deathlands and used them to craft spheres of negative weight, allowing us to effectively roleplay as a high-speed missile launcher. But even that was still not enough. I was tired of paying for goods, so I stabbed a merchant with a love injector and robbed him blind. Then I stabbed a legendary bear, so we could improve human race relations by sharing honey and the location of local beehives. I also stabbed the Pope, made him follow me back to town, and watched as he started a race riot because his reputation with the unwashed masses was not very high. Instead, I wanted companions that don't murder everyone, so I
What
sprayed
the
sentient
hell
on a
is
block of concrete
happening?
and convinced the block of animated concrete to follow me into combat. I found out
Who
concrete
made
not only
this and
indestructible,
why?
it can also hold
What?
weaponry in its hands. Unfortunately, my companion died when I foolishly tried to slam through concrete using concrete. I broke a concrete wall. I lost a concrete friend. But none of what I said even holds a candle compared to being a high-level esper. Here's some examples of what you can do. Surround yourself with a permanent force field. Use instant transmission. Turn walls into lava. Turn brains into liquid using your mind from the other side of the map with clairvoyance. Dominate every merchant to give you their life savings. Dominate a domesticated pig. Put a nuclear warhead in its mouth and turn it into a remote-controlled suicide bomber. Split yourself into 7 identical copies with identical powers and turn the screen into a living nightmare. Use ego projection. Project your HP so high it doesn't even render in the UI. Die anyway. Reverse the outcome with precognition. Follow one of the billion divergent timelines instead.
This
Act
is-
the mass
this
mind.
is
Plug
too
sentience
much.
from the universe. Reset your cooldowns and do it all over again. As you can probably tell, it was so damn powerful that the developers had to code in their own countermeasures. Now, the more powerful you are, the more others start to notice. Your psychic glimmer increases, and other espers will come to take your mind for their own. The attacks become so brutal, the burden of power so great, that you might even be tempted in your moment of weakness to eat a fuck ton of humble pies, because in this game, the bakeries are owned by Nietzsche, and his pastries induce ego death. The player will forever subvert the developer. Do you know how to end the pursuit, to stop the hunt, to escape? You have to accept first that there is no escape and allow yourself to be caught. And in the briefest of moments, you dominate your pursuer and kill yourself. Your old flesh is gone, but inside new flesh, your mind lives on. This game is truly exceptional, but it does have
What
problems.
the
One, it's made on
fuck?
Unity. That's not immediately noticeable.
How
So when
did
a
they
small
code
cloud of
all
gas
of that
accidentally falls down
in?
a pipe and has to generate 10 levels of dungeon for the sake of simulation, yeah, you're gonna notice.
I
Two,
was
sometimes
about
the
to say,
defensive quest
how long does it take to load a single fucking save of this? That's crazy. What the hell?
NPC contracts a fungal infection and is regrettably chopped to pieces. Sometimes the sandbox breaks and you lose your progress. The game practically expects you to use console commands to fix itself, so don't feel too bad about it. Free. Most of the game is randomly generated, but you can tell immediately if a character is pre-written, because the first Tumblr fursona you meet will give you an option to ask about her neon purple hair and quirky way of talking. I like the writing in this game, but come on, disliked by the water barons for her queer appearance? Really? Maybe she just looks like shit. Listen, I can respect the fact that you can self-insert your OC girlfriend, but at least give us the option of dismembering her. And 4, I want more. There's not enough of this world, and you're spending too much of your time banning me off your Discord for making reasonable gameplay suggestions. Initially, I dismissed this game as overly simplistic. I come back now to tell you how deep it goes. Even with a time given, I've only told you a fraction
Overly
of what I
simplistic?
know.
What
It
the
should
fuck
be
do you
noted that
mean,
the writing
Seth?
in this game is fantastic. There's so much lore, like how the banana ranchers in this game are plants themselves. It's plants enslaving plants. It's plantation owners beating other plantation owners. They just work up the hierarchy. It's like my slave name used to be Whipped Cream. Now I'm Whipping Cream. The music in this game is very charming and sets the tone that you're in a completely alien environment where nearly every rock, tree, and flower is very much alive. It's a beautiful, wonderful, and janky mess of a game, and despite being in early access, it's already given me
sounds like a
hundreds
nightmare.
of hours of enjoyment. As such, I give it a
I would love to
completely
try it,
random, yet
but I
quantifiably high score, which can
100%
only be
would
expressed
not
on a graphical
like
calculator.
it.
It's fantastic. It's not for everyone, and it's incredibly neurotic, but if that sounds like something you'd enjoy, give it a try. We negotiated a deal, however small, for about 10% off for the next couple of days on GOG. Follow the link, and you save a single $1. As always,
Although I
content
say
will
that,
stay
but
tuned. That content will consist of more than 4 pixels. A warm thanks to the many members
I
of the
say that,
Merchants
but
Guild
I
generously
tried some
funding
games
and
expecting
bankrolling
that
these
to
videos, except
not
this
like
one
them,
is
but
completely free because
it
can't
turned
make you
out to
pay
be
money
much
for
more pleasant
abstract
than
text
I
adventures. You're
initially
all truly
thought.
wonderful. Take care and have a good one.
Like, I hate turn-based shit for the most part, and I remember I tried Under Rail, which turned out to be a really fucking good RPG that did annoy me in a couple of places, but honestly, yeah, that game might surprise me too. So Caves of Cood, fuck, I have to remember that title and try it out for myself at some point, especially if it's as cheap as Seth said it is. It does sound like it's great value for the money, at least. Anyway, thanks for watching. Like if you liked, subscribe if you want to subscribe. Check out Seth because his videos are great. I'm out. I need to drink some tea because my throat is fucking killing me.